Programmer. I have a small penis, but that's okay, because I use AI. I have a small penis, but that's okay, because I know React. I have a small penis, but that's okay, because I use Rust. No, I am not a real programmer. I'm a LARPer who loves AI. No, I am not a real programmer. I'm a LARPer who loves React. No, I am not a real programmer. I'm a LARPer who loves Rust. No, I am not a real programmer. I'm a LARPer who loves AI. AI makes me feel like a true programmer. 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 I have a small penis, but that's okay. I'm a real programmer. I have a small penis, but that's
What's up, everyone? Almost ready.
because I use AI. I have a small penis, but that's okay. I'm a real programmer. I have a small penis, but that's okay, because I use AI. I have a small penis, but that's okay, because I know React. I have a small penis, but
I'm going to turn down the music and we're going to get started. All right. Okay, welcome in, everybody. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and everybody who's watching from X or Rumble or LinkedIn or YouTube or Twitch or wherever the heck ever. Now we're in the future. I hope you're having a good day or a good night wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So I've got my coffee ready. I've got the news ready. I've got my coffee. Cheers, everybody. Listen, I just want to stress one more time. I really appreciate all the support I've been getting. It's been rough to keep up with the news. It's been rough to stay afloat with work and everything, and stay positive and all that with some of the news that I keep reading about. But you guys make it worth it, and I appreciate that. So I've got a mixture of things. Some of the news items are going to be updates on stuff that I've covered in recent Daily Tech News streams, and there are going to be some new ones as well. And I'm going to be asking for some help because, well, there's some stuff I don't know. Yeah, there's some stuff I don't know, and I suspect that chat will be able to help me out. So we're going to cover it. It's going to be fun. let's pull up the first article here. All right. Dior, fashion brand, hit by cyber attack and customer data leaked. Here's what we know. Global fashion powerhouse. Let me zoom in just a little bit here so you guys can read it better. Global fashion powerhouse Dior confirmed suffering a cyber attack in which sensitive customer information was lost. Payment data, bank account, or credit card information was not taken. Well, that's good at least. I don't know what I just did there, but in a statement shared with Bleeping Computer, Dior said it is currently investigating the incident and that it brought in third-party cybersecurity experts to assist. The House of Dior. You know, just to replace a few words there and you've got yourself the House of Dragon. Recently discovered that an unauthorized external party accessed some of the data we hold for our Dior fashion and accessories customers, the spokesperson told the publication. We immediately took steps to contain this incident. The teams at Dior, supported by leading cybersecurity experts, continue to investigate and respond to the incident. Now, there are some things that were taken. While Dior confirmed that passwords and payment information were not accessed, it did not say how many people were affected or what kind of information was taken. Bleeping Computer claims to have found screenshots of data breach notification emails being sent to Chinese customers, which share a little more insight. Apparently, the attack was spotted on May 7th with the miscreants. Ah, yes. Those crooks and miscreants. Hey, those miscreants, hey. I don't know what kind of impression that was. That was dumb, I'm sorry. Walking away with people's full names, gender information, phone numbers, email addresses, postal addresses, and purchase history. That's more than enough to create personalized, convincing phishing emails and get Dior customers to share their passwords or make unwanted purchases. This also seems to have been an international incident since at least Korean and Chinese customers seem to have been impacted. In South Korea, Dior would be facing a lawsuit for not properly notifying relevant authorities. Currently, no threat actors have claimed the responsibility for the attack, and the stolen data has not emerged on the dark web. So the details right now are scarce, it seems, on what happened, how, why, etc., etc. But happen it did. And just because you're a big multinational brand name, fashion designer, chic company does not make you exempt from whatever the heck happened here. We don't know. Hopefully in the days to come, we'll have some details on it. If it comes out, I would be very curious to see how this happened and why. Okay, now, did you think XSS was dead? Did you think that XSS issues were dead? That you would never see an XSS issue ever again? No. I'm sorry, but it lives on. Spies hack high-value mail servers using an exploit from yesteryear. Attacks spilled contacts and emails from targeted accounts. Threat actors, likely supported by the Russian government, hacked multiple high-value mail servers around the world by exploiting, yes, you heard it right, XSS vulnerabilities, a class of bug that was among the most commonly exploited in decades past, hearkening back to the time when I was but a young buck in the world of tech, taking down production databases all over the place. XSS is short for cross-site scripting. Vulnerabilities result from programming errors found in web server software that, when exploited, allow attackers to execute malicious code in the browsers of people visiting an affected website. XSS first got attention in 2005 with the creation of the Sammy worm, which knocked MySpace out of commission when it added more than 1 million MySpace friends to a user named Sammy. Man, this is throwback central right now. We've got XSS and we've got MySpace. XSS exploits abounded for the next decade and have gradually fizzled more recently, although this class of attacks continues now. Just add JavaScript. The words you hear before all utter failures in the tech industry. I'm just joking. On Thursday, security firm ESET reported that SEDNet, a Kremlin-backed hacking group, also tracked as APT28, Fancy Bear, Forest Blizzard, and Sophacy, gained access to high-value email accounts by exploiting XSS vulnerabilities in mail server software from 4 different makers. Those packages are Roundcube, MDaemon, Horde, and Zimbra. If you know anything about email service providers, then these might seem familiar to you. I think some of these also do other kinds of services for servers, so it might seem familiar. The hacks most recently targeted mail servers used by defense contractors in Bulgaria and Romania, some of which are producing Soviet-era weapons for use in Ukraine as it fends off an invasion from Russia. Governmental organizations in those countries were also targeted. Other targets have included governments in Africa, the European Union, and South America. Round Press, an ESET, as ESET has named the operation, delivered XSS exploits through spear phishing. Hidden inside some of the HTML in the email was an XSS exploit. In 2023, ESET observed SEDNet exploiting CVE 2020-43770, a vulnerability that has since been patched in Roundcube. And so there you go. There's your first hint at why this happened right here. So this has been patched, but it's still being used. A year later, ESET watched SEDNet exploit different XSS vulnerabilities in Horde, MDaemon, and Zimbra. One of the now patched vulnerabilities from MDaemon was a 0-day at the time SEDNet exploited it. So essentially what that means is that these systems were not patched. They were not up to date. And as a result, these things happened. 4chan, anyone? JavaScript included in HTML portions of the emails exploited vulnerabilities built into the different mail servers. XSS exploits allow an attacker to control code that runs in a browser as it visits affected sites. The SEDNet code caused mail clients to send contacts and previous emails to attacker-controlled servers. In some cases, it also created a sieve rule that would forward all emails received in the future to a SEDNet address. So there you go. That's essentially how it happened. They have a nice little fancy chart here on how the exploit generally works and what kinds of information that they're getting. This is the exploit chain, and they give some information on like the contents, the subject, title, the from and to addresses, all of that stuff. So just when you thought we were past the good old days of XSS exploits in the wild, nope, they're making a comeback. Absolutely making a comeback. Now, let me pull up these next 2 articles. Well, these next 2 links. Hey, what's up, Laughley? By the way, hey, Piercoin, good to see you. Hey, Frozen / Ernesto on YouTube. Good to see you, man. So we're going to pop this one up, and we're going to pop this guy up. Let me get to the right spot. Okay, what is Ivanti? Well, I mean, it tells you right here. Everywhere work elevated. So Ivanti offers a service which comes in the form of cloud-based VPN, for example, or devices that allow you to have VPN access to everything you need. So let's just have a little bit of a look at what their claims are in terms of their description here. Ivanti finds, heals, and protects every device everywhere Automatically, whether your team is down the hall or spread around the globe, Ivanti makes it easy and secure for them to do what they do best. Uh-oh. Yeah, Laughably, yeah. Yeah, hey D-Dabber, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, Laughably has a point here. First of all, this claim, quite the claim. It finds, heals, and protects every device. That's quite the claim, all right? We're starting off with quite the claim. And then, in a completely unrelated set of events, Ivanti patches 2.0 days under active attack as Intel agency warns customers. Vendor says vulns are linked with 2 mystery open source libraries integrated into EPMM product. Oh, what? What? More open source libraries creating issues? Gee, color me shocked once more. Color me shocked once more. How many times are we going to read these kinds of titles? Australia's intelligence agency is warning organizations about several new Ivanti 0 days chained for remote execution attacks. The vendor itself has said the vulns are linked to 2 mystery open source libraries, which it declined to name. Well, hang on. Why? Why would you decline to name these mystery open source libraries? Nani? The Australian Signals Directorate, ASD, issued a critical warning about the 2 CVEs earlier today. Individually, the 2 bugs seem fairly unalarming, but together they can be and have been used to exploit Ivanti customers. So they released an advisory. They have company-issued devices that they need to lock down. Although EPMM, which is used by Ivanti customers to manage company-issued devices, although it can be used by all types of organizations, the advisory stated that the information was intended for large organizations and government entities, suggesting the EPMM vulnerabilities are less likely to affect smaller companies. I don't know if this matters, honestly. So these are the versions. I don't know if anybody out there cares who's watching me. I don't know if anybody does the Ivanti stuff. The reason for the lack of insights on this right, I don't know what this means, could potentially be due to the fact that the buggy code isn't Ivanti's according to the vendor. It instead belongs to 2 unspecified open source libraries that EPMM relies on, and Ivanti is working with their maintainers to understand whether separate CVEs need to be assigned for the libraries themselves. Hey Taz, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Yeah, you can. Yeah, Laughably's right. You can catch it on YouTube. You can literally just rewind all the way back and then go 2 times. At the end of the stream on Twitch, the VOD stays up and you can watch it from the start. You have to use Ivanti at work, Mist? Oh boy. Well, here you go. Well, there you go. The implication is that the broader security system, everyone else who uses those libraries, will also be affected. So, hang on, right? You guys get this, right? We have 2 mysterious. Yes, they're like 007. They're like Bond-style mysterious libraries. They have caused Ivanti to suffer from 0-day RCE security issues. Ivanti will not say which ones they are. Which means that anybody else using those libraries is also at risk. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, the other patch was another Ivanti vulnerability affecting on-prem instances of neurons for ITSM. I have no idea what that is. It's nearly a maximum severity bug, allowing remote attackers to give themselves admin rights. Unlike the aforementioned 0 days, however, this hasn't yet been exploited in the wild. But thanks to this bloke letting you all know about it, it shall be. Patches are available, so make sure you update your Ivanti stuff. Ivanti also had little to share in terms of mitigations for the bug, other than its previously espoused best practices, which they have some documentation for, and you can go read it, like limiting IP, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. There you go. Isn't Ivanti supposed to be security software? Yeah, Taz. Yeah, you just missed it. Check it, Vaz. Vaz? Taz, I mean. Check it. Check this out, Taz. Look at this. Ivanti finds, heals, and protects every device everywhere automatically, whether your team is down the hall or spread around the globe. Ivanti makes it easy and secure for them to do what they do best. There you go. That's right, Taz. Miss is expecting an email soon from work. Good thing I don't work on support. Yeah, today wouldn't be a good day if you're dependent on this for support. So there you go. The irony is not lost. Miss says we use Ivanti for support tickets, submitting cabs and crap. I see. Okay. You guys are going to have to help me out with this one. Okay. This is a good time because I need to take a second to clear my throat and take a sip of coffee. But this one is kind of like a more neutral, it's positive. Like, it's good. Ivanti sounds like a Chinese Amazon seller name that they change every year when they switch products without losing reviews. What's up, Unholy Diver? Good to see you, man. How you doing? I'm not helping. I'm vibe streaming. What more do you want? I want more. Laugh. I want more. Not enough. Okay, check this out, folks. I don't know exactly what this means. I'm going to read it out, and then maybe you guys can help me understand this a bit. Linux swap table code shows the potential for huge performance gains. Let me zoom in. One sec here. Following recent discussions by Linux kernel developers around integrating swap cache and swap maps functionality with the swap allocator, swap table was born. With swap tables, the hope is for lower memory use, higher performance, dynamic swap allocation growth, greater flexibility, and other improvements over the existing swap code within the Linux kernel. Engineer Kairui Song with Tencent posted the swap table patch series today for implementing the design ideas discussed in recent months by kernel developers. The results are exciting, so let's get straight to it. With this series, swap subsystem will have a 20 to 30% performance gain from basic sequential swap to heavy workloads for both 4K and MTHP folios. The idle memory usage is already much lower. The average memory consumption is still the same or will also be even lower with further works, and this enables many more future optimizations with better defined swap operations. That sounds great. The patches also clean up and address various historical issues with the swap subsystem. So this is kind of what they show. There's some, I guess this means something. This is kind of beyond my scope. I've never really truly looked into this very much. So while I take a sip and clear my throat here, what the heck does this mean? What is this? Yeah, don't rewrite it in Rust. Get rid of that. Numbers on the right are smaller. Means good. Right, but what does the swap have to do with any of this? I don't quite get that. Like what is this? What is this swap stuff? I didn't have time to look at it. I should have looked at it myself, but I didn't have time. And this seemed interesting, so I just wanted to bring it up and figured this was a good chance to engage with the chat because you guys are a bunch of lazy bums. Swap tables. I'm not entirely sure. Sounds like C problem. Shut up, Unholy. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this means, but swap is memory stored on the file system. Right. I know that, for example, you can set up a swap partition or a portion of your drive that's dedicated to swap. And if my understanding is somewhat correct, sometimes it can serve as a RAM, like a poor man's RAM. If your RAM gets full, then you can use the segregated swap section to store like RAM based memory or stuff that would typically go into RAM. I know that's one use case of it. So I'm imagining that maybe this just means that they've made an improvement to the swap system. Like, it just felt like there was something else going on here that I wasn't aware of with the swap table, but maybe it's just an improvement to swap, in which case, okay, I can understand that. Yeah, typically, lately, Linux distro have been using swap file instead of a swap partition. Okay, it protects against out-of-memory issues, right? What's up, Elko? Good to see you, man. Swap is effectively disk space used like RAM, so you're correct. Okay. I set that up when using Arc, but never get to use it. My RAM's like 64, right? Sounds like they improved the allocator. That's kind of the what I got out of it is that they've just made like an improvement to the way that swap effectively works under the hood. But it just from reading it, I thought like, and looking at the swap table and all of that, I'm like, maybe they created like a new type of swap, especially because, let me see. Let me see. There was something that stood out to me. Well, of course now I can't find it. Anyway, okay. As long as I have the general understanding right, then I'm happy with that. Unused RAM is wasted RAM though, so I should probably start using Chrome and never closing tabs. Yes. Open 3 browsers at once. Yeah, why wouldn't you? Okay, well that's cool. Thanks for helping me out with that one. I wasn't sure if there was more to this than my basic cursory understanding of what swap is. I haven't done a deep look into how swap works or whatever, so I wasn't sure if I was missing something. So, but a good article, I guess. It's not a negative one. Swap could have always used optimization, but even with it being optimized, it would still be crazy slow compared to actual RAM. Right. Yes. My understanding of that is it will only be as fast as the hard drive that the swap partition, for example, is stored on. And a hard drive is not the same architectural hardware that random access memory is in terms of pure hardware, closeness to motherboard, etc., etc., etc. Okay, let me pull up the next article here. Redis cache is like a smart RAM disk. Yeah, I believe that would be a decent definition of it, at least. Even slower, hard HDD bus speed, communication to the processor, so much latency. Yeah, it's like a last resort kind of a thing. That's what I understand it to be. When your RAM runs out, your last resort is swap. Okay, this one. Oh boy. I've got one. And I almost want to skip the first portion of this because the first portion is the best portion. You know what? Let me see if I can do it. Can I do it? Okay, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. I wanna build up to the very first because yeah, this is good. Okay, here we go. No, hang on, I did that wrong. Hang on, I did it wrong, folks. Okay, I did it wrong. Here we go. We'll do this. There we go. Okay, everyone's deploying AI, but no one's securing it. What could go wrong? Okay, now there was a report done in the UK. Let's go back to the article. The NCSC, which is a cybersecurity, whatever thing in the UK, launched a report on the matter on day one of Cyber UK 2025. Not only did it note that there is a realistic possibility that critical systems could become vulnerable to advanced attackers by 2027, but also that all organizations which fail to integrate AI into their cyber defenses before then would become materially riskier to a new breed would become materially riskier to a new breed of cyber criminals. So the report, essentially goes into stuff that we've been talking about on daily tech news streams and enlightened programming streams since forever. AI is 100% not a panacea to anything. Well, to very few things, let's put it that way. And people don't even know how to use it properly, let alone secure themselves. So, the good part. Well, hang on. There is a bad part. The bad part is that the report says you need to use AI to defend yourself against cybersecurity in the AI that you use in a non-cybersecurity form. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, use AI, generate stuff out of it, and then use more AI to cybersecure yourself. That's what the report says. Yeah, so Laughly, you got it. Yeah. Unholy Diver. I'm glad nobody is securing it. Personally, the more damage AI does to companies, the less likely they will be for firing employees to replace them. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. It's less likely. So now, how about just don't use AI? How about that? How about just don't use it? Now, this is the part. There, you speed run the whole problem. This is the part of the article. So these guys have a Cyber UK, what would you call it? A conference, okay? Cyber UK, it's a conference. And what they do is they grab, obviously, a bunch of people who are involved in cybersecurity and, in this case, AI, and they get them together and they talk about appropriate problems in these conferences. It's your typical conference like any other. Let's read, shall we? Because if you're not wearing diapers, you might want to wear diapers because you're about to shit your pants. What happened at said conference? Peter Garrigan, CEO of MindGuard and professor of distributed systems at Lancaster University, asked the Cyber UK audience for a show of hands. How many had banned generative AI in their organizations? 3 hands went up. And how many, in your deepest of hearts, actually have a good grasp of the security risks involved in AI system controls by a show of hands? Not a single hand was raised among the 200-strong, security-savvy crowd. So, everyone's using generative AI, but no one has a grasp of how secure it is in the system, Garrigan replied. The cat's out of the bag. Bros! We're cooked. Yeah, there's 3 gigachads. We're cooked. We're so cooked. You have 200 people there at a cybersecurity conference who are supposed to be representative of some kind of knowledge behind cybersecurity. 200 people. You have you have 200 people there, and they're like, you expect them to know something about cybersecurity. Otherwise, why are you at a cybersecurity conference? And what happens? Hey, who here has banned generative AI? Like D Daver says on Twitch, 3 gigachads, just 3 gigachads out of 200. And then you ask, how many of you know how secure or insecure is the AI that you're using at your companies? Crickets. Fucking crickets. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. Yeah, Laughily says they're working at a metal shop with no goggles, no gloves, no aprons, nothing. Yes. And then you wonder why the UK has been getting hit by cyber attacks for the last few weeks, almost non-stop. Speaking of which, MNS cyber insurance payout to be worth £100 million, I believe. And that's really the point of the article. That's it. I know it's subscribed, but I purposefully didn't grab the original because I didn't need to. That's it. They're going to potentially pay a huge amount for the cybersecurity issues that they're having in the UK right now. And it doesn't end there. No, it doesn't end there. Hang on. Let me grab the next one here. It would be this one. No, sorry. No. It's this one right here. The cybersecurity, the hackers, sorry, who targeted the UK are now targeting the US. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that spider. So scary. Google warned today that hackers using scattered spider tactics against retail chains in the United Kingdom have also started targeting retailers in the United States. The U.S. retail sector is currently being targeted in ransomware and extortion operations that we suspect are linked to UNC 3944, also known as scattered spider. Now, just out of curiosity, do you think that cybersecurity experts in the US are as fully aware, more fully aware, or less fully aware than the UK cybersecurity experts as to the issues surrounding AI, generative AI, and its security issues? I think we can all take a guess as to what the reality of that situation is. The actor, which has reportedly targeted retail in the UK following a long hiatus, has a history of focusing their efforts on a single sector at a time, and we anticipate they will continue to target the sector in the near term. US retailers should take note. And then they talk about the stuff that we've covered: Harrods, Co-op, M&S, and so on. You can't be any less to find experts. So the same, yeah. So this is absolutely mind-boggling to me. It's I don't know. It's a dual-edged sword, right? Because but it's not a dual-edged sword. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's like a dual-edged sword that the only thing it does is hurt yourself, because you have people who use AI to create code or systems or features which are insecure. They don't know how insecure. And then the idea is that you use AI to fix those. It's like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so bonkers. It's so crazy. Now, hang on. It's hard for me to keep up with chat. I saw Netflix, Unholy Diver. Wait until you find out about Netflix. Oh, Unholy Diver. Oh, Unholy Diver. Little did you know, Netflix debuts its generative AI powered search tool. And not just that, but there are follow-up articles, which I haven't read, about Netflix putting ads in TV shows using generative AI so that they are particularly tailored to the show you're watching and to your viewing habits. Now, I haven't read that article, so I haven't included it in this news stream. I'll include it in a future one. However, you can use generative AI now to do searches. So, for example, you can say, I want something funny and upbeat. I want something scary, but not too scary, and maybe a little funny, but not haha funny. The feature is set to roll out this week to iOS users as an opt-in beta. Some subscribers in Australia and New Zealand have already had access to it, as reported by Bloomberg last month. Amazon has an AI voice search experience on Fire TVs. Tubi's ChatGPT-powered search tool, which answered content-related questions and suggested movies based on a user's specific request. However, Tubi later discontinued the feature, probably because of low adoption. Yep. So we're going to have AI ad rolls, yeah, exactly as Unholy Diver is saying, and we're going to be paying for it exactly as Unholy Diver is saying, because they can raise prices to offer these AI systems or to watch AI generated ads or whatever. So who's paying for it? Of course we are. Now, AI doesn't end. One more for the AI. Well, actually two more. Let me switch over. Now, Rose, shout out to Laughfully on Twitch for sending me this. I need a second, because this fucked up, yo. So, do you remember what typo squatting or slop squatting is? Does anyone remember? I'm going to hold the stream hostage until someone answers what typo squatting or slop squatting is. Let's see how many of my viewers actually pay attention to my streams. What is typo squatting or slop squatting in terms of AI? Plus, I need an excuse to clear my throat. Excuse me. It's not fair if you answer. No, Laughfully. NPM and Cargo had that issue. Yes, Unholy Diver. What is it? What is it? Someone answer. Someone else answer. The stream is hostage until someone answers. What is typo squatting or slop squatting? I need you guys to know this. This is like actually very important. You guys need to know this. So I'm calling you out. I'm calling chat out. There's at least a few of you on here. When you fat finger a malicious package for your project. Close, Unholy. Close, but not quite. You're going to have to do better than that. Although that's not bad. Sergeant says, hold on, I'm vibe coding a new security feature. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I guess you guys just don't want the news, huh? Typo squatting. Yeah, typo squatting, yeah. Smuggling typos into the training data? Nope, DDAVR. See, this is actually why I want you guys to answer, because you guys don't pay attention, and it's really important. They hallucinated malicious package for a bug fix. You're close, Purecoin, but not exactly. But you're on the right track. Come on, guys, you can do this. It's not smuggling typos into the training data. Oh. Yeah, but you're on the right track, D-Daver. You're on the right track. Yeah, it's close. I gave you the correct answer. You're ignoring it. Am I? Oh, you did. Oh, damn. Elko did. Sorry, Elko. I missed it, man. Yeah. So Elko on Twitch got it. Okay. I apologize. Somehow I completely missed it. I apologize, Elko. That's on me. That's my bad. You get to next time we meet, free punch to the face, right? It's when you get a link similar to a popular repo, so you can inject code into a project with a div, with a dev who uses that typo. Very, 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 very pretty much spot on. So you just to add some more context to what Elko is saying. So you do something like you go to ChatGPT and you go, ChatGPT, give me a Python, write me Python code that allows me to click a button and grab all the stock market data for the day. Something stupid like that. Like what, just imagine whatever it is. And ChatGPT goes, yay, let's do it. Here's a bunch of code. And then it imports a bunch of libraries as part of the code, because Python typically will import some libraries. NPM does this, Composer for PHP does this, Rust crates do this. A lot of different languages and libraries and whatever do this. React does this, all of that. All of them do this, right? So depending on what you ask for it, it's going to import some stuff that it knows that it needs to import in order to accomplish the thing you're asking it to do. However, as Elko says, we all know that hallucination rates for a lot of models are through the roof. In some cases, over 90%, depending on what you ask it. It will hallucinate a package that does not exist. Or it will take a package that it does know exist and literally typo it. It will just like miss a letter or not spell the package correctly in some fashion. And then what happens? Well, if you are someone of an unethical nature, you can use the same prompt that other people use against ChatGPT or whatever LLMs you're using, and you can see which packages are not real. They're hallucinated or they're typoed. That's why it's called slop squatting, because it's hallucinated. And that's why it's called typo squatting, because it's typoed. It's two different ways to get there. And then what you do is, well, now that I know that this prompt generates a bunch of packages that I know that the LLM will tell at least several other people that you need to have, I will go ahead and actually create the packages. So when people are too dumb to check what the hell they're importing as part of the generated LLM code, my package will actually exist, and it will contain ransomware or spyware or crypto mining or whatever the hell it is that I want to put into this fake package, and nobody will be the wiser. Okay, so that's what that is. It's really important you guys know that. Now, as it so happens, Python has decided that it's going to go full in on this. It's decided, you know what? Let's just lean into this. AutoGenLib is a Python library that automatically generates code on the fly using OpenAI's API. When you try to import a module or a function that doesn't exist, AutoGenLib creates it for you based on a high-level description of what you need. We're all cooked. We're so cooked. We're cooked. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. Import wisdom, export code. Dynamic code generation. Import modules and functions that don't exist yet. Context aware. New functions are generated with knowledge of existing code. Progressive enhancement. Add new functionality to existing modules seamlessly. No default caching. Each import generates fresh code for more varied and creative results. Full code-based context. LLM can see all previously generated modules for better consistency. Color code analysis. The LLM analyzes the actual code that's importing the module to better understand the context and requirements. Automatic exception handling. All exceptions are sent to LLM to provide clear explanation and fixes for errors. Just pip install autogen lib and away you go. And then you just make up whatever the hell you want and it'll just do it. It'll just do it. Code is validated and executed. Creates the code, validates and executes, and then it becomes available for use. Sweet. Generate a TOTP generator. TOTP generator. Secret key 123. Sweet. Add a verification function later. Sweet. Use context awareness. Autogen lib. Get highest score. Here's your data structure. Boom. Get high. Yeah. Create multiple modules. Bam. You're good to go. Doesn't matter. This is great. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. We're so cooked. It's over. It's completely over. It's just done. Why code anymore? What's up, Kevin on Twitch? Good to see you, man. And before OpenAI buys us for 10 bill, yeah. Now the thing is, I know you guys are saying this must be satire. This must be satire. However, there is absolutely nothing in this repository that indicates that this is satire. There are 9 forks, which is crazy in and of itself. There are 252 stars. As far as I can tell, there are no issues and there are no pull requests. At least none that are open. So I just don't know how exactly you can determine that this is actually satire. I'm not sure. I feel like it's probably true. The only thing that gives me some sense that this might actually be satire, note, of course, 100% of the code of this library was generated via LLM. It's over, boys. It's over. Now, would you like to get more black-pilled? Who wants to be more black-pilled? Does anybody want to be more black-pilled? Anybody? Anybody at all? If you vibe code a whole project, you should be blacklisted forever. Yes. And shamed. I'll just wait. I'll just wait for somebody to say they want to be more black-pilled. I've got more black pill for AI. Who wants it? Good luck. I'm already asking you to sell tinfoil hats. I know. I'm looking into it, Elko. I'm legitimately looking into it, man. Hang on, Lightspeed. It gave a disclaimer. Contributions are not welcome. This is just a fun proof of concept. Did it actually say that? Let me check. Oh, it does. Oh, bros, maybe we're not as cooked as I thought. Check it. Yeah, Lightspeed is right. I completely missed this. Reading comprehension failure on my part. Contributions are not welcome. This is just a fun proof of concept project. Now, granted, Lightspeed, that doesn't mean that it's satire. It just means that it is a proof of concept and this person doesn't want to have contributions. So it's not proof that it's satire, right? It's not like a disclaimer that this is a satire project. It's just, it could still be a very legitimate project. Okay. You guys are your stupid jokes. Okay. Somebody needs to say, you want more copium? No, man. No, piece of chaos, piece of crap. Yeah. Now, somebody needs to say that they want more black pill. Somebody's got to tell me that you want to be black pill while I just sit back and chill, waiting for you guys to get black pilled beyond belief. It's a good black pill. I'm just going to chill out. Plenty of copium. Yeah. Yeah, you guys keep going. Guys keep going. Pineapple on curry. Let's see how many POCs you guys can come up with. Daily tech news going off the rails today. Off the rails. No, nobody wants more black pill? Oh man. You guys don't want any more doom and gloom? Really? What is the LDL/60 on black pill? Yeah, that's a good question, Chief. Yeah. Yeah. Chat's funny today. Yeah, chat's funny today. Plenty of cocks. Do you remember the black pill in the Matrix? Yeah, it was there the whole time. They were... Jeez. Christ. I can't even say it. If any of you are on X or Rumble or YouTube or something like that, you guys are missing out on Twitch chat. Twitch chat is going off the handles with what the acronym POC means. Stuff I can't even say because of terms of service. Okay, you guys are missing out. So get your takes in. You guys don't even know. You don't even know what you're missing out on. All right. Okay. I'm gonna doom and gloom you some more. It ain't over. Last one on AI. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave the title up, and you guys can read it for yourselves, and then I'll get into it. Yep. You guys are reading that right. Yep. Judge admits nearly being persuaded by AI hallucinations in court filing. Plaintiff's use of AI affirmatively misled me, judge writes. A plaintiff's law firms were sanctioned. This is the good news. The judge sanctioned and ordered them to pay $31,100 after submitting fake AI citations that nearly ended up in a court ruling. This is the good news. Michael Wilner, a retired U.S. magistrate judge serving as special master in U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, admitted that he initially thought the citations were real and almost put them into an order. Now, if you don't know what a special master is, a special master is a particular type of lawyer who has imbued legal powers that are typically reserved for other lawyers that are part of a kind of like a systemic imbuement of the same power. You might have seen this on some TV shows or movies, but you can look up the definition for yourself. It's usually done in circumstances where, as an example, you have a lawyer who, let's say, gets 404'd as part of an ongoing investigation into a client they had, which was under investigation by police because of another 404. So then what happens is, well, how do the police appropriately look at the legal information that the lawyer had about the 404'd victim, who then the lawyer also became 404'd, right? You have to respect the privacy of not only the initial victim, but also the lawyer who was originally involved with the victim, and they so happen to also be 404'd. So then you have a special master step in, and the special master can kind of replace, in very extenuating circumstances, by having the same, let's say, essentially legal rights as the original lawyer, for example. And that way everything can continue as is necessary legally to continue. Okay, so that's what a special master does. So the reason why this is of particular note is because a special master has the potential to have more legal rights in some cases as a lawyer than a typical lawyer might have. It's very extenuating, but it can happen. And to have a special master almost be compelled by AI hallucinated legal arguments is absolutely mind-boggling. These aren't the first lawyers caught submitting briefs with fake citations generated by AI. In some cases, opposing attorneys figure out what happened and notify the judge. In this instance, the judge noticed that some citations were unverifiable, but was troubled by how close he came to including the bogus citations in an order. Directly put, plaintiff's use of AI affirmatively misled me, Judge Wilner wrote in a May 5th order. I read the brief, was persuaded or at least intrigued by the authorities that they cited, and looked up the decisions to learn more about them, only to find that they didn't exist. That's scary. It almost led to the scarier outcome from my perspective of including those bogus materials in a judicial order. Strong deterrence is needed to make sure that attorneys don't succumb to this easy shortcut. Can anybody tell me why? Okay, hang on. Can anyone tell me why Judge Wilner here, from his perspective, thinks that the scarier outcome would have been including the bogus materials in a judicial order? Why would that be more scary than the fact that these AI hallucinated materials, these AI hallucinated cases typically used as precedents? Why would it be scarier for the judge to actually include them as part of the order? Why is that scarier than actually having them exist in the first place? Can anybody answer that? Think about it. Use your brain. Why would it be? I already gave the answer away, but why would it be a bad thing if the judge here actually sent an order and included the bogus material? Yeah, you could fake it before with AI. Yes, DDabber. That's not the most concerning. There you go, Taz. There you go. Taz nailed it. If they're included in a judgment, it sets precedents. So the logic is really simple. The reason why judges include court cases, this is why you have what are called, wow, I completely forgot the name. They're secretaries. They're legal secretaries, I think. I think that's actually the name, the legal secretaries. As a legal secretary, one of your jobs is to, I have a little bit of historical background in legal stuff. not any formal education, just I've been around it, so I kind of understand bits and pieces. A legal secretary, a paralegal, thank you. Geez, that's it. Paralegal, not legal secretary, paralegal. Thank you, Chief. What they'll do is a lawyer will go to them and say, look, I need you to go look at court cases which have these factors and these outcomes. And I'm going to use these court cases for my current case so that I can persuade the judge that they don't have to do any further research into the context or aspects of this case. What all they have to do is accept the fact that a previous judge has already ruled on such conditions in this or that way. And though that precedence means that the judge I'm currently trying to persuade can count on the fact that other judges have also come to the same outcome. So that's what a paralegal will normally do. They will go and hound, whatever legal libraries there are, and they'll get their hands on cases and they'll figure it out. So as an initial starting point, it's included in this article. As an initial starting point, the lawyers included precedent-based, what do they call them? Citations, in order to try and persuade the judge to come to a certain outcome. If this judge had not confirmed that those things existed and then had put it as a matter of record, what do you think that means? That means that the next paralegal who goes and looks up the actual conclusion of this court case is going to assume that all the citations of this court case are also based on precedent. And so it creates a scenario where if you're not checking for whether or not these citations exist, it actually becomes easier and easier for them to escape scrutiny. This was good because it's a first line of defense. Simply eliminate the citation in the first place, and then it never gets to that point. But it's scarier if it got past this point because it falls under less scrutiny. It's far less likely for it to be found out as false citation. It would just be assumed that because it's a matter of record, then all due diligence was done, the outcome has been supplied, let's just go with it. So D. Davra, it's a supply chain attack, and Lightspeed, the precedent would go away if it was found out to be a bad foundation. But even still, let's imagine for a moment that it passed. It passed this, okay, and then several other, because you have to think about it as kind of like a web, right? So one outcome one judicial outcome leads to a web of other outcomes based on the precedence of this outcome. So then what happens is it expands. You have a magnitude of order expansion as things progress. At some point, yes, you might figure out maybe that this citation was based on a bad foundation. But now what does that do? Now you have to go back through all other outcomes, all other judicial outcomes that were based on the origin source of the bogus claim, and undo all of them. That's how it works, because those outcomes are now based on bad information, which means you have to go through a retrial, or sometimes you don't even get that opportunity. It might be an appeal. It doesn't matter. Essentially, you just have to undo the entire judicial process because they were all based on bad foundations. So the precedent might go away, but the consequences are more and more and more severe the farther down the supply chain you go, which is a great analogy. It's an allegory in real life to what we do in the tech industry. That's exactly what's happening and has been happening for the last 10 years. So this is why I wanted to bring this one up in particular. It turned out that the AI hallucinations weren't too far off their mark in the recitations of the substantive law, but that doesn't excuse the lawyer's use of AI in Wilner's view. That's a pretty weak no harm, no foul defense of the conduct. This judge is based. This judge is based. The sanctioned lawyers are representing former Los Angeles County District Attorney Jackie Lacey, who sued State Farm. Lacey's lawsuit alleges the insurance company refused to provide legal defense to her late husband, who faced a civil suit after pointing a boom boom stick at a group of activists who were on their porch. Bros, I'm not done. This gets worse. Large team of attorneys didn't notice fake cases. So Elko said it. You bet your life it's happened multiple times. I just didn't want to read his message out because I knew this was coming up. Lacey is represented by what Wilner described as a large team of attorneys. So the judge himself described it as a large team of attorneys at the giant K&L Gates and a smaller firm, Ellis George LLP. Wilner described the incident as a collective debacle. The attorneys representing plaintiff in this civil action submitted briefs to the special master that contained bogus AI-generated research, Wilner wrote. After additional proceedings and considerable thought, I conclude that an award combining litigation sanctions against plaintiff and financial payments from the lawyers and law firms is appropriate to address this misconduct. Wilner was appointed as a special master to oversee a dispute regarding State Farm's assertion of various privileges in discovery. Wilner found that a plaintiff's supplemental brief contained numerous false, inaccurate, and misleading legal citations and quotations. Approximately 9 of the 27 legal citations in the 10-page brief were incorrect in some way. That's a third. At least 2 of the authorities cited do not exist at all. Additionally, several quotations attributed to the cited judicial opinions were phony and did not accurately represent those materials. So, second attempt at brief still had fake citations. The lawyers admit that Mr. Copeland, an attorney at Ellis George, used various AI tools to generate an outline for the supplemental brief. That document contained the problematic legal research Wilner wrote. Mr. Copeland sent the outline to lawyers at K&L Gates. They incorporated the material into the brief. No attorney or staff member at either firm apparently site-checked or otherwise reviewed that research before filing the brief with the special master. Based on the sworn statements of all involved, which I have no reason to doubt, the attorneys at K&L Gates didn't know that Mr. Copeland used AI to prepare the outline, nor did they ask him. During Wilner's initial review of the brief, he was unable to confirm the accuracy of 2 citations. He emailed the lawyers, asked them to resubmit the brief without the 2 correct citations, but with the remaining AI-generated problems in the body of the text. So they resubmitted, they removed the 2 that the judge found, but they kept the rest. They didn't even think to be like, well, maybe if the judge found these 2, maybe we should be checking what the hell else we included. So because the judge wasn't satisfied with their attempts to actually fix the problem, then he had to make them pay a fine. And then he states, don't use AI in the legal process. No duh. So, holy crap. Imagine that your life is on the line and your lawyers are doing this, or the judge is doing this, or they're all doing this and none of it gets caught. This is absolutely mind-boggling that this happened in the first place. But this is the real-world consequence of using AI without thinking. And the principle of this matter holds true in the tech sector as well. That's why I do what I do here. Because you guys need to see what the consequences are of not using your brain when you're putting these things together, and what the consequences are when we are too silent about these problems. I realize that a lot of you actually care about these problems, but there's very little you can do. Hopefully, the information I'm presenting helps you to understand and form and present logical, fact-based arguments to your colleagues, managers, executives, whoever it is you're talking to, that these things have real-world consequences. And it can cause a lot of harm. Okay, I'm way over time. Let me do a few more here. We're going to do this one next. Leading crypto firm Coinbase faces up to $400 million hit from cyber attack. Now, we covered this, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. Coinbase is having an issue where they're not responding to the claims that there is a lot of scamming going on. People are being scammed out of their crypto money. This is the most important thing that is an update to that news article that I already covered. One of the world's biggest cryptocurrency firms, Coinbase, says a recent cyber attack will cost up to $400 million. The firm said it was contacted by hackers who claimed to have gained access to customer information obtained by making payments to Coinbase contractors and employees. In a blog post, Coinbase said the criminals had gained access to less than 1% of its customer data, which they then used to impersonate the firm and trick people into handing over their crypto. Literally. Coinbase contractors and employees got bought out to sell information about crypto holders. Good old social engineering 101. Who says that you need to do a complicated hack? That you need to find an unsecured S3 bucket? Nah. People have a price. So that answers how the Coinbase thing happened. And the information that we went over yesterday is essentially the same. Their share price is falling. They're having a tough time. People got a whole bunch of their money taken out, etc., etc. That's how it worked. There you go. Not all hacks are technical in basis. Some is simply offering money to people to sell their principles. That's all it takes. Next. Microsoft cuts off access to Bing search data as it shifts focus to chatbots. So essentially, they're limiting access to their Bing API. That's essentially what this is. They're going to keep it around for bigger customers, but the reason why they're doing this is because they'd rather you do Bing search using a chatbot. This was supposed to go in line with the Netflix AI stuff, with the Netflix AI search, but I completely overlooked it because you guys were making funny jokes. So here it is. This is the direction that Bing is heading towards. You're going to be using an LLM system to do your search now in Bing. Okay, that's what they're moving to. You may have heard that there was a Steam leak of data. A hacker is allegedly in possession of 89 million Steam user records that they've put up for sale. Valve says that it's not a breach of Steam systems. A leak of old text messages sent to Steam customers with one-time codes for logins was not a breach of Steam systems, Valve says in a post published Wednesday. Valve's response follows news that a hacker is allegedly in possession of 89 million user records and put them up for sale for $5,000. Bleeping Computer looked at 3,000 leaked files and found historic SMS text messages with one-time passcodes for Steam, including the recipient's phone number. While one ex-user claimed that there is evidence tying the breach to Twilio, a Twilio spokesperson told Bleeping Computer that there is no evidence to suggest that Twilio was breached, and that we have reviewed a sampling of the data found online and see no indication that this data was obtained from Twilio. Valve also told the ex-user that it does not use Twilio. Now, let's assume for a minute that this is not a Valve or Steam-based exposure. Where did this person get this information? And you have to imagine that maybe it's a third-party system. Maybe it's a third-party system that they're no longer using, but they did use. Could this possibly be a third-party hack, as we're so accustomed to seeing on these daily tech news? Most likely. That would be my guess anyways. The last article that I have yeah, 5,000 is peanuts. I know. Yeah, please lads. Okay. This, I just know that somebody somewhere on the internet is going to look at this and go, "Oh my goodness, AI is doubling lossless data compression rates. That's incredible. Look what AI is going to do. It's going to replace entire swaths of our industries. The future is AI. Give up now. One more model, bro. It's here." Once again, I will point to the fact that these people are not going to present themselves as having any amount of reading comprehension whatsoever. I did read it. On your behalf, I did read it. Now, at first glance, this chart looks nice, right? There might be something to it. In some cases, it's pretty good, right? Now, let's see. Let's see if I can find the paragraph. I think it's towards the end. Okay, here you go. Here's the kicker. We demonstrated, let me zoom in. We demonstrated that understanding equals compression, and we think this is of crucial importance, added Lee. We also paved the way for a new era of compressing data using LLMs. We think in the future, when these large models are on our cell phones and everywhere, our method of compressing data will replace the classical ones. In our next studies, we also plan to use our methodology to compare large models and detect plagiarism. Now, okay, so I see Taz. I seriously doubt that LLMs would actually produce truly lossless compression. There would likely be artifacting and hallucinations in the data. Absolutely. Based on the results, the conclusion of the people of this paper, can you see why this is not true compression? Can anybody tell me why it's not true compression? Anyone? Laughingly nailed it. What's required They're saying that they can regenerate the file instead of actually compressing it. Not quite. Not quite. Laughingly nailed it. In order to get this type of compression, you actually have to run an LLM. That's not compression. If it's required that you have to run an entire LLM model in order to get this kind of compression, then you're not compressing. All you're doing is you're offloading bits to the LLM. That's all you're doing. This isn't compression. This is not compression. Definitionally, it's not compression, because by definition, compression requires that you take into account the thing that does the compression as part of your compression algorithm. Sure, they could just store all your info on servers, yeah, and give you a hash, yeah, with your LLM of course, Sergeant, yeah. This is not actual compression. But what you're going to get is you're going to get morons online who are going to do the cursory reading of the title and go, yep, AI's got us beat. It's over now. It's over. Terminator's here. It's not here. This is definitionally not compression. Is it interesting? Sure. Sure, it's interesting. Sure. That's it. So, we'll see. We'll see what the outcomes here are of this kind of stuff. Maybe they'll make improvements. Who knows? It depends on how much data you're compressing. If you're compressing terabytes, then an LLM isn't terrible overhead. If it can give you 10% better performance, I doubt it will actually do so. See, the issue is that even with this, right, what they focus on up here, just read the paper, right? The basic idea behind the researcher's data compression algorithm is that if an LLM knows what a user will be writing, it does not need to transmit any data, but can simply generate what the user wants them to transmit on the other end. This isn't even compression. It's not actually even compression. It's definitionally not compression in two ways. Yeah. Yeah, it's just putting words in your mouth. Yes. Yeah, yes, Taz, yes. It actually is. Yeah, you're right. It actually is what you were saying. You're actually right. I didn't see it at first when I first read your message. But now looking back, yeah, you actually were saying this. I was focused on a different aspect of this, but you are 100% right, and I believe that I also am 100% right. We're both right at the same time. This is definitionally not compression, because any amount of actual compression that's taking place is dependent on a huge LLM model. Therefore, it's not compression. And second of all, it's not compression of any data at all if you're not taking data and making it smaller to begin with. If all you're doing is using an LLM to kind of precognitively Tom Cruise style pre-generate what your intended output is, that's not compression at all. So Daz, you're right too. Yeah, how the hell is it lossless? Yeah, all the data is lost. A black hole is the perfect compression model. It absolutely is. You guys don't walk around with phones that have 20,000 tensor cores waiting to compress files? Pff, noobs. Why am I even in this stream? Yeah. It loses less than 100% of the data. Yeah. But we all know that there are going to be people who are not going to read this kind of stuff as thoroughly as you and I do. And they're going to take it to the extreme where they're going to say, see, AI has crossed the Rubicon of taking over every aspect of our lives. That's what they're going to say. This is why I urge people to use their brains. This stuff is not hard to get a handle on. It takes very little reading comprehension to actually understand what you're reading. It takes very little awareness of fundamental principles in programming or even in life in general to have a reasonable outlook on things, that ideas, concepts, whatever that you're presented with. We need more of that. We absolutely need more of that, because we've been encouraging programmers in particular to turn that part of their brain off. And that part of the brain is an absolute requirement in this industry. And if someone like me can sit down and take 15 minutes out of my time to read one article, read the paper, actually figure out what the hell it's saying, go look up words that I don't understand, which happens all the damn time. I'm not super intelligent. I have to look up stuff all the time. I'm pretty damn stupid. If I can do it, you can do it. You were thinking about it from a different angle. That's fine, Taz. Yeah, I misread your message anyways, Taz. I completely did. You were right, 100% right. It takes little reading comprehension, that's true, but it requires you to read more than the headline, and most people don't do that, yeah. You do mispronunciate some words. I do, yes, I absolutely mispronunciate words. I do. It's a sign of dum-dum. It is. I try and pride myself in my reading comprehension, but it's not great. I have to look up words all the time. I don't understand what they mean or what it says, but I put the effort in. And it's really not that hard. When will search engines stop telling us it's an AI answer? I don't know. So Chief, if you let's see. LLM lossless compression. Okay. So if you look here, I went over this yesterday, Chief. I don't know if you were here. There's something you can add to the query parameters in this URL. UDM equals 14, I believe. And it will literally take AI generated answers out. Let's say I do this. It's not doing it right now. I don't know why. Maybe I borked up my Google search when I was doing a deep dive into Google search parameters. But UDM equals 14 removes AI generated stuff out of the Google search engine. I covered it yesterday. You think Elko was being facetious? Mispronunciate is not a word. Oh, damn, did he get me? Damn it, Elko, did you get me with mispronunciate? I legitimately thought it was a word. Hang on. Let's have a look here. Mispronunciate. Yeah. Mispronounce. You got me, Alco. You bastard. You got me. You sick, twisted bastard. You got me. You beat me on my own game. I officially hand over the stream to Alco. See? I'm stupid too. Just like all of you. Good job, Elko. You got me good on that one. I didn't even bother to check. I just went with it because I trusted chat. First rule of Stream Club. Don't trust chat. Okay. I'm way over, but I had to get through those because I'm woefully behind. I'm woefully behind on all the news articles. It's been crazy. I'm doing video editing. I'm hunting for work. I'm trying to handle the few bits of contract work that I have. I'm trying to be a good dad and husband. I'm trying to juggle all these things. I'm trying to pre-read all the articles and come up with like thematic things for you guys to enjoy and jokes and all that. It's tough. It's not easy to keep up. So I'm taking some extra time on these streams. I might have to do that a little bit until I catch up on some of the news items. So I appreciate the patience because I normally try and stick to an hour. But listen, that's the end of this stream. I really appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. I will continue to do this for as long as you guys support me. And the support has been immense. It's been more than I thought I would ever get, to be quite honest with you. I'm just an idiot on a camera. Really, that's all I see myself as. But I just really care about the industry, and I really care about us putting in good quality work. And I think there's a lot of money to be made for everyone. And I would like to see that. I would like to see all of us make more money and have better jobs and do better quality work. So that's why I do what I do, and your support means a lot. It's expanding my reach. It's stupid that we have to play the algorithm game, because I think algorithms are just societally bad. I say this every stream, but it's the only way for me to talk to more people like you and hopefully persuade others. I want to persuade as many people as possible to understand what the consequences of all of these poor decisions we've been making over the last 10 years and now speed running with AI, what the consequences are. And you help me by expanding my reach, hitting the like, hitting the subscribe, following me, reposting, resharing. But honestly, if you don't want to do any of that, I don't blame you. Just being on here, whether it's Rumble, X, Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is, and just being a viewer and chatting with me and all of that, it helps the engagement, and I appreciate that a lot. And one more time, thank you to all the people who subbed financially yesterday on Twitch. I greatly appreciate that as well. So I will be back tomorrow for another daily tech news stream. I have some plans to do some video game streaming, some Vibe video game streaming at some point this week. I have been threatening to do it earlier this week. I haven't had the time. I'm working really hard to get there. I apologize. I feel like I'm letting some of you down by not being able to get to it, but I'm going to do my best to get to it ASAP this week, so we can work on the video game a bit more as a change of pace from the daily tech news. And yeah, that's it. I will catch you all tomorrow, bare minimum, for the next episode of the Daily Tech News for a Good Friday stream. And I am encouraging you all to stay safe, because it's dangerous out there, okay? Please stay safe. Taz, as I end, subs on Twitch he's been subbed for 2 months. He subs for another month. Taz, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I really do. It helps. It really does help. Look, I know what it's like to be homeless and poor and not have work. I grew up like that, lived in my car, etc. So that's why I don't make a big deal out of asking for money, because I know a lot of you are going through the same troubles that I am, which is having a hard time finding a job, not having a few bucks to scrape together. I know what that's like. I've been there, man. And that's not the reason why I do these things, why I do these streams, I should say. I do it because I think we could all be making more money. It's not for me to take your money. But when you do that, honestly, I'm not going to say no. I appreciate it. And it helps just a little bit to make sure that there's a few bucks on the table for me to pay for things. So it's greatly appreciated. I don't have enough words to express my gratitude for people who financially contribute over the last anywhere between 1 month to some people have been on here for like 17 months. So thank you again. Thank you, everybody. I'm out of here. I will see you tomorrow. Stay safe out there, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Peace out. You all suck. All of you suck. Every single one of you on this stream is pathetic. You are all scumbags. You suck so much. It's actually off the charts. If you could have a suck meter that could automatically detect the amount of suck on this stream, it would be off the charts. It would be incomprehensible how much all of you suck. You all suck. Every single one of you. Tip